I'm about to do a water change on my tank. I'm going to talk you through that, the various steps that I've done that I found really easy. I'm going to do it in a couple of parts, so I don't have to edit the video later on. This is outside. This is where I have a barrel. It's 220 litres. It's an old golden circle barrel that I basically bought for $10, I think it was, from the old golden circle factory. I've got my reverse osmosis filtration system here, which is plumbed into my water system for the house. The waste goes into a water tank that I've got there, so I don't waste any of the water. And here you'll see the hose that runs up the wall. I'll show you the inside later on. It goes up through my trusses and then comes out down by my tank. So what I've found to mix up my salt, the easiest thing is to actually, and I learnt this after quite a long time of doing water changes, trying to get the mix right, is I just bought a cheap set of scales off Grays Online it was. And I'm using Reef salt, which is the salt that I have on my website, and I just put in there. It comes up to 7 kilos is the weight. Since I've moved that, I've buggered it up, but it's 7 kilos, and 7 kilos comes into 1.025 on my refractometer. I'll weigh it there. I'll pour it into the mix, stir it up. Check with my refractometer over there to make sure that I've got it to the right spot, and then I'll take you in and show you on the next part of the video what I do when I siphon out the water on my tank. Okay folks, this is part 2 of my water change. I'm about to do water change of 220 litres. I showed you on the first video on how I mix my salt. I've just got a length of plastic reinforced tubing, and I've got my floor waste down here on the ground. So I'm just about to start a siphon. Put my hose in the top tank. And so I hope this video is not too wonky. I'll start my siphon. Push my pipe down the ground there. And we're off. Usually I'll sort of just put my pipe, stick it around the live rock, try and suck up as much detritus as I can, but it's going to be a little bit difficult in doing this video at the same time, so I'll just let the water drain out. The water level in this tank, I've got about 600 litres in my main tank, so it's going to drop down to be about here, which is about 1/3 of the tank, which is about the right amount for doing water changes as well. Things to watch out for is make sure your temperature and your water in your tank outside is equal to what you're putting in here. And I've got the main lights on the tank today, but probably recommend turning them off when you're doing a water change as well, because it drives up the temperature of the water, especially when you've got your main pump off, because there's no circulation. I'll come back and show you once I'm pumping the water back into the tank. Thanks. Okay, I'm back outside where my main tank is, which is a 220 litre drum, as I said earlier. I've just got a pipe that I just plug in and plug externally, and then I put this hose. It runs all the way up through my ceiling, and I'll show you where it comes out inside the tank in a minute. On the end of the hose here that I put in the bucket, I've just put a bit of PVC on the end of it. It just stops the hose from sucking at the bottom of the barrel. So I'll just pop that in there. Whoops. And I actually put this hose through the lid as well, which will hold it in place. Like so. I'm just going to start a siphon on the end of here just so I can fill up my reservoir in the tank. And it's ready to go. I'll turn my pump on. And the water starts going on its way inside. And here you can see, this is where I've made this outlet here in the wall. So it comes all the way from outside, through my wall, pops out here, and the water pops out the end here into the tank. I have to go back out, there's a bit of air getting in there, which is obviously from the siphon that did. It's that simple. I had this water change done. It's taken me approximately 10 minutes so far. That tank will be filled back up again within 10 minutes maximum, and my water change is done. The other thing I do is clean my glass. There's a lot of fancy glass cleaning products out there on the market that you can scrape your algae with, but what I've found is the most basic, simplest thing to use. It's just a credit card or a membership card of some description. It doesn't go rusty. Not as good as a lot of the blades, but they, as I say, they don't rust and they're good for a long period of time. So think about using one of those as well, especially for the easier algae to get off. That's really all it is to it. It's my simple water change. That's why I do water changes every 2 to 3 weeks. It saves me having to put too many supplements, etc. in, because it's already in the salt. And it's really that simple. Hope that helps, and we'll see. Last tip I forgot to say to you guys is that I always, every second or third water change or so, I take a bucket of water out of the sump, get rid of all the detritus and that's accumulated in the bottom. You can see the difference in the water colour there. A really good handy thing to use to be able to do water changes and even to do your auto top-off water is a 20 litre bucket like one of these. I'm actually just using the old Reef salt Chem one that I've used. I've used the salt. I've got quite a few of these left over. They come in really handy. Of course you can buy them at Bunnings as well, but if you're buying your salt, why not put the packaging to good use. So my water change is completely finished now. I haven't got my main pumps back on, but it's all done. So it's taken me no longer than about 20 minutes from start to finish. I'm just going to tip this water back in the sump now, turn the pumps back on, and that's it for another 2 to 3 weeks. Just keep my auto top off in the corner over there, topped up. Also add my alkalinity to that as well, to keep my carbonate hardness up, and just goes through the auto top off. Stay tuned again for another handy tip from Aquarium Emporiums. Thanks.